Hello and welcome. Today I am water bath canning fig, rhubarb, and lemon jam using Pomona's Pectin. Today I decided to use dried figs, so I will have to rehydrate mine in some boiling water. That usually takes about 20 minutes. You just put them in the boiling water and you wait, and they reconstitute. This uses a combination of bottled lemon juice and real lemon juice. And so I'm going to zest my lemon and juice it because I don't want the lemon to go to waste. I had the lemon that was in my fridge and it was going to go bad, so I decided to use it up. You have to cook your rhubarb in about a quarter of a cup of water so it doesn't burn, and you want to make sure it's soft enough that it's actually edible as a jam. Then you want to, mash your figs and jam together. And I actually decided to use a blender for mine because I don't think that my figs had reconstituted entirely, or they were a little too tough, and I wanted to have a smoother texture. But if you like chunky jam, you can use larger chunks of fig. Right now, I'm just adding in the lemon zest, the lemon juice from the fresh lemon, a quarter of a cup of bottled lemon juice, the calcium water, and stirring it all in. The reason why you need to use bottled lemon juice is because it has a high enough acidity that it will make this safe to water bath can. Fresh lemon is far too variable to be able to determine whether or not it will set the pH correctly. I'm now adding the sugar and pectin mixture, and you want to make sure that this is thoroughly mixed because it can clump. And if you have chunks of pectin just floating in your mixture, it takes forever for them to dissolve. So when you add your pectin to your sugar, you want to make sure that you thoroughly mix them together. This process takes a long time because you have to let your jam come to a rapid boil, so it has to be almost spitting at you, and then you boil it for about a minute or until you think your jam is set, and then you can test it in a couple of different ways. I use the sheet method where I pick the spoon up and I look at it and how it falls off the spoon. If it falls in a single sheet, then you know it's set. Some people use a spoon that they stick in the freezer, and if it sets on the back of the spoon, they know they're done. Some people use plates. That works too. I just use the sheet method because I don't have to use other things and get them dirty. Now you want to fill your jars to a quarter of an inch of headspace. Finding that spot takes a lot of practice because it's really close to the edge. So sometimes you can overfill it, sometimes you can underfill it. I've been doing this a while, so I know the spot, but if you want to double check, you can use one of those headspace checkers. Right now I'm just using a vinegar on a paper towel to clean off the rims. And you want to make sure that you're very persistent about it because jam is very sticky. It will dry and it will prevent your seals from happening. And it stinks when that happens because you went through all this effort and then you end up with either one or two or three failures. And that's a waste of time. So I'm just double checking that the rim has no chunks of jam on it or nicks or chips or cracks so that I will hopefully have 4 seals. And you want to tighten the lid to fingertip tight. So you don't want to crank down with your wrist. You just want to use your fingertips to set the band in place because you want to hold the band in place enough to be able to vent it. And I'm just using a stock pot to water bath can in with a rack in the bottom. Fill it to at least 1 inch above the jars, and then you boil it for 10 minutes, either at sea level or up to 1,000 feet. You add an additional 1 minute for every extra 1,000 feet you are above sea level. So if you're 1,000 feet above sea level, you do it for 11 minutes. If you're 2,000, it's 12 minutes. If you're 3,000, it's 13 minutes. And then when the time is up, you turn off the burner, you let them cool in there for a few minutes, and then you take them out. And then when you take them out, you want to leave them to stay on the counter overnight so that you can ensure they've cooled down, they've pulled their seals. Then the next morning, what I usually do is I take the band off and I check the seal. And if the seal's good, you'll know because if you tap on the lid, it'll make a thunking sound instead of a pinging sound as if it's hollow. Or you can just pick it up by the lid itself because it should be vacuum sealed. This process should have literally produced a vacuum inside of the can. And uh, if one of those two things happens, then you know you're good to go. You can wash them, you can dry them, and then you want to label them with the contents and the date that you did it. Because you may think in a year you'll know, but you won't. If you have any questions, just let me know and I'll try to answer them in the comments. Have a good day.